Welcome everybody to the Clean Cuisine, and today I've got another delicious healthy snack slash dessert for you guys. It's going to be banana chickpea muffins. Have no fear, you actually will not be tasting the chickpeas in my opinion at all. They're just going to be nice, moist, delicious, fiber, nutrient packed muffins that you can grab on the go for lunches, for desserts for the kids, whatever the case may be. So let's get started. I've got out all my ingredients right now. What I did is I went ahead and I drained 2 cans of garbanzo beans, and the reason that you want to drain them is because we're actually just looking for the texture of the beans. It's going to help bring our muffins together. We're not necessarily wanting to get the flavor, so by rinsing off really good that sort of starchy liquid that it comes with, that'll rinse out a lot of that sort of bean flavor that comes with it. So just make sure you rinse them really good under cold running water and let them drain for a few minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and add that into our food processor here. I always like to double my recipes, guys, so if you just want to try this out for the first time, feel free to cut all my ingredients in half. So again, I've got 2 cans of garbanzo beans. I also have 2 very ripe bananas. And while I'm throwing all of this into the food processor, I've got my oven preheating at 350 degrees. So you want to go ahead and set that. And I like to use the muffin tins. You may prefer to do it in a loaf pan to make it more of like a banana bread. I've done that before. The time for cooking will vary, but I also like to do the little individual muffins because my girls love these for lunches and for a snack after school. So, all right, so I've got my 2 overripe bananas in there, my 2 cans of garbanzo beans. I'm going to add 1 cup of oats, and I use the old-fashioned oats, organic, gluten-free. That's because we're a gluten-free house, but any old-fashioned rolled oats would do. And then to that I am going to add about a tablespoon of vanilla, pure vanilla. Don't get the imitation stuff, it's no bueno. And then your favorite nut butter. I just happen to have, we haven't used this one before, so I'm anxious to try it. This is a sunflower seed nut butter. I usually prefer almond or cashew, but if you have a peanut butter, whatever you want to use, I'm going to go ahead and add in about a half a cup of that. Just a little more. Okay, get that in there. I love the fact that this utilizes a food processor. In fact, a lot of my healthy desserts do. It's just a super simple way to get all your ingredients in there, pulse it, and then throw it in whatever container you're going to cook it in. Makes things a lot easier. Now in here, and I'll put up the measurements, I've got a little bit of baking powder, baking soda, and sea salt. That's going to help them rise a little bit, and the salt is going to give it just a little bit extra flavor. And then for, in addition to the bananas, a little more sweetness component, I'm going to add in, this happens to be a creamed honey. You can certainly use honey, agave, dates if you want to use a plant-based, more plant-based way of sweetening this up. You could try stevia. Now the measurements will probably change a little bit only because you're using, this has volume as opposed to stevia usually comes in liquid form, sometimes a powdered form as well. But anyway, so I'm going to use about a 1/4 cup of this creamed honey. And I know we tend to go a little bit light on the sweet component when I put it in our baking. So if you don't think it's sweet enough, you can taste the batter when it is all mixed together. If you want to add a little bit more, that's when you would do it. Alright, so I've got all my ingredients in there. You can see here, now it's simply going to be a matter of processing this. It is going to be a fairly thick batter. Don't expect it to be runny or look like cake batter. It's going to be pretty thick, and we're going to go ahead and spoon it into what I'm using is these silicone muffin tins. I love these because you can just pop them out. but you could use any sort of cupcake tin, or like I said, if you wanted to do more of a loaf pan, you just want to make sure that you if you're using metal or glass, spray them with a little cooking spray or line them with wax paper before you put it in. All right, so here we go. Let's give it a pulse. I'm going to stop it halfway through, and I'm just going to take off the lid, and with a spoon I'm just going to push down my sides to make sure all gets incorporated. Sometimes the nut butter or the beans or the honey will get stuck at the top. You want to make sure everything is equally incorporated. So I'll just do that, and then I'm going to puree it for another 30 seconds to a minute until I feel like everything has come together. All right, let's take a look. So you can see, hopefully you can see, like I told you before, it's going to be a pretty thick batter. And what we're going to do now is we are going to scoop that into our muffin tins. I'll just grab a large spoon, and you can fill them just about to the top. I mean, they're not going to rise a super. They're not going to rise a lot, so you don't have to worry about these overflowing. All right, so here they are. They're pretty much ready to go in the oven. Again, you can kind of bang it down a little bit on the table to make sure it is distributed and it's filled up the bottom of the cup. And if you're really feeling fancy, you want your kids to get super excited about it. Not like they're not already going to taste delicious, but we like to add a little bit of our non-dairy chocolate chips on top. So I literally will just put a few on the top of each of these. Again, this is an additional, totally optional step. My girls will devour these without this little extra step, but you know, sometimes it just makes their day. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm kind of a sucker for chocolate, so. All right, so there we go. Got a few chocolate chips on top of each one. I'm gonna pop them in my 350-degree oven for about, I'd say between 15 and 20 minutes. And I'll show you what they look like when we're done. And after about 16 to 17 minutes, guys, this is what we're looking at. Shiloh's excited about it. I can promise you these will not disappoint. They are delicious. They are moist and soft on the inside. They definitely will help curb that sweet tooth. And like I said, they are packed with fiber, protein, tons of nutrients that are going to be great for you and your kids. I hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to give a thumbs up if you like. Don't forget to subscribe for more simple, clean, healthy meals your whole family will love.